Hi guys, finally I'm in the hands, finally the Proton X70 MC, this car. You see, I'm adjusting the seat beside me using the controls here. Yeah, Proton has updated the X70 with the new engine. Oh, let me put it back to park. Oh, automatically it puts the parking brake. The idle RPM is at 1000, and so far I'm not feeling any, if any, tremble. Those of you who own an X70, the new one, or the X50 with the 1.53 cylinder, you can probably attest to this. There's no panel roof, so I'm not sure if this is the highest spec, but from what I know, this is 177 horsepower, 250-ish Newton meters of torque. Okay, let's go. Now the thing is this, the newest news that shocked everybody last week was that the Proton X50 actually outsold the Myvi. That is a pretty big news, to be honest, because the Myvi is like a 40 over 1,000 car, and the X50 is a 70,000-ish car. Now the X70 has been around for a while. It has been wildly successful because when it arrived with this sort of price point, it provides a driving experience or an in-car ambience experience that is very, very, very close to European cars. This has always been a strong point. And I remember saying this in my previous review of the X70, that's another one. I said that people who bought this car now will be in a dilemma because you need to work very, very hard in order to feel there is an upgrade in your next car. Yeah, that is something that X70 owners would need to deal with when it's time for them to buy their next car. Provided Proton, purportedly the rumors, is preparing an X90. We'll see, or probably an X80. We're not sure. Alright? And in this time and age, this screen is no longer considered big, right? When it arrived, it was like, wow, digital LED screens in this segment, and that was a big thing. But now, many cars has it already. Give it a full beans and see. I haven't pressed the spot button. Careful. Okay, continue. The car handles as tidy as it has always been. It's a very tidy handling car. And it has that feeling of, I always mention this, heft. It has that feeling when we are driving this car, right? It doesn't feel like the car is empty or super lightweight, you know, the kind of Asian car feeling that we have. No, this one feels like a Tiguan. It's solid. It's very well put together. And the seats are really comfortable. The leather is proper quality leather. Quiet ride. See, if I compare this to the 1.5 in the BMW X1, the differences are so apparent. This drivetrain is actually superior. The X1's engine, really, you can feel the vibration, and it's not even as powerful as this one. This is smooth. Arguably, on paper, the X1 with the 8-speed ZF is a superior transmission, but that all also comes down, even though this one is not the well-known ZF 8-speed, right? It all comes down to how well the calibration and tuning was done, all right, for day-to-day driving, you totally won't feel the any sort of instances whereby the car has a little bit of jerking here and there. No, it just puts it in the right gear, and power delivery is smooth, the drive is smooth, and it's quiet. If you came from a Honda BRV, this is a major upgrade. Major upgrade. You almost feel as though you went into something 3 times more expensive from a BRV. Alright. Now from the exterior, I really can't tell any differences between this and the previous one, because all in all, it's just a change of engine, but you're getting the same power. Why? This 1.5 3-cylinder is a modern advanced engine. Alright, it has been used in other premium companies under the Geely group, and I think it's superior to BMW's 3-cylinder 1.5. This is superior. Smoother and more power. More eager power delivery. Put it in sports mode. There's some red dials there, and then it revs heavily. Yeah. If people don't tell you, you wouldn't be able to even tell, oh, what is a 3-cylinder engine? To be honest, most buyers of this segment don't even understand what you mean by cylinder. When you talk about a car having 4-cylinder or 3-cylinder, they wouldn't know. They just know that it's 1.5. Road tax is a lot cheaper. It's like what, 70 ringgit versus 1.8, which is, I don't know, 300 or 200 plus. I have no idea. Road tax is a lot cheaper. On paper, fuel consumption, definitely a 1.5 will be lower, but at the end of the day, it's about how the person drives, okay? Now, a Mazda 3 would be hoping their 1.5 is a turbocharged 1.5, delivering 177 horsepower, which they're not, okay?
Auto air conditioning is turned off.
Oh. Hi, Proton.
Glad to serve you.
Very hot, ah.
Okay, set temperature of all seats to 21 degrees.
Let's go through the car. Okay. Now again, for 110,000, you wouldn't be able to find this type of driving experience. Okay. 360 camera, very high resolution, very clear graphics, and I like the fact that they did a split screen. Unlike their sister company Volvo, with a large screen and only allows us to view one vantage point at a time. So on a Volvo, right, if you want to have the rear view, it will only be entirely rear. You want top view 360, then it's only entirely top view 360. This is a better implementation than Volvo. So yeah, let's go through the car again. Even though I've done it and I don't see any changes, but probably there are people who watch this video for the first time. My old X70 video was a couple of years ago already. I couldn't recall when, 2018 maybe. Yeah. Alright, let's walk through the car. Let your bitch keep me. Ride with the mob. Voila. Check you and me. Into your job. Nerd is the name. Big ballers in the chain. Turn on photo watch. Pussy plain chain. Alright guys, I'm in the Proton X70 MC. They call it MC, minor change, but hey, it's an all new engine from the old 1.8 engine, turbocharged direct injection engine, to this one, the 1.5 turbocharged direct injection engine that is shared across many brands in the Geely group. And there's a premium brand in Geely group that has already been using it successfully. Has been proven to be reliable, and performs really well. Okay, so as far as I am seeing here in the interior, I don't see any visible big changes. But of course, there's the saying, I mean, if it won't break, why change it, right? So let's go through from the start again. So here are some soft touch materials on the door cards. These mimicking stitches are actually not real stitches, but of course they add to the appeal. You have a folding line and then a stitch line. Okay, here the inlays are materials that looks like brushed aluminium, but I'm very sure it's actually a layer on top of a plastic. But they do feel a little bit chill when you put your hands next to the aircon vents. All right, there's some metal look alike, feel alike element to it. All right, but of course the brushing is over the top, you know, is so obvious. Okay, and it's pretty uniform. Now the door handle is something that I really like in the design of the X70. So see, this is the handle where you rest your palms. I love cars with this. Why? On long distance drive, you really can rest your right arm. Now, of course, this material is also a godsend, because those with BMW F30, F10, you have a door handle here, but they turn sticky. This one doesn't. Okay, it will not turn sticky. And in terms of the molding lines and all that, the fitment is alright. It's nothing special, but also nothing jutting out or sharp edges. Okay, I can find sharp edges in German premium cars, and there are none here. Okay, now of course, in terms of material, they can't be too extravagant. This is, at the end of the day, still a locally assembled 110,000 SUV. Okay, now the door handle, this is definitely a fuse cover. I don't think it is a compartment. Oh, it is a compartment. It's a bit tight, but it is a compartment nonetheless. So they have this extra molding to open and close. I forgot which car was it, using the indentation for the fingers to serve as that catch when you close it. Okay, to the steering wheel, nothing special over here. The Proton logo, and then here the fonts are very tiny, but still you can read it. So this is for the cruise control. Okay, and then over here, volume, mode, next previous song, pick up the phone or shut it off. All right, this is like a 3-spoke steering wheel with a double spoke down here. You get a little hole here. This feels smoother than the previous one. Sorry for my finger doing stuffs, but I need to feel the molding lines when I review cars, whether it's sharp or not. Okay, it's not sharp, it's all right. Leather wrapped steering wheel. Okay, not a steering wheel that is too fat. The girth, this is a good girth. BMW M Sport is not. BMW M Sport is like super thick, so a lot of ladies with petite hands will find it very difficult to hold BMW steering wheels. This is just nice. This is all right. The stocks, how does the stocks feel? They feel better than my Aston Martin stocks. Okay, I'm not joking. Okay, and at the back here, now this part, the fuel gauge and the temperature are not part of the LCD cluster. Okay, the LCD is over here, so this is dynamic, shows different information, and then when I press sports mode, it changes the graphics. It's all right, but nowadays we see a lot more cars with a full LCD and then very dynamic information. Okay, nevertheless, do remember, this is a car that they not only just spend on a flashy screen to attract you to buy, but it is a car that is built to have the kind of comfort levels, a smooth drivetrain, and soundproofing like that of a premium car. There are no visible differences between sitting in this car, the ride experience, versus that of a 250,000 or 280,000 premium SUV. Okay, it's so similar. And then these are the touch sensitive buttons for you to jump between modes, you know, media and then radio and then phone, but there are no visible or audible or haptic feedbacks, all right? Only a sound that indicates to you that what you have touched has registered. Well, I don't expect like a actual vibrating haptic feedback. I mean, this is not a Porsche Panamera, all right? So overall, it's there, more or less equal to many kind of infotainment systems out there now. However, every X70 comes with 4G connectivity, data access. That means you have a cloud-enabled media, you know, your songs and all that. You'll be able to play songs by requesting. Maybe I can try now, or maybe I try later. Hi Proton.
Follow you.
Navigate to Mid-Valley Mega Mall.
Do you want to go to Mid-Valley Mega Mall?
Yes.
Starting guidance to Mid-Valley Mega Mall by shortest. Please follow actual traffic regulations. Guidance to destination is starting. Estimated time of arrival, 1:04 p.m. Here turn slight left.
Okay. So this is the type of experience that an owner of premium cars will have. Okay. Not even your local or Japanese mix, you know, the mass market Japanese mix would have. All right. Here's a compartment, rubberized here, for you to put some stuff. Let me find some stuff to put there to visually show you how it works. Your wallet can be placed there. It's also good to keep your wallets away from prying eyes around on top of the cabin. So there's one for the driver, there's also one for the passenger over there. Okay, here's a compartment where you just glide, and then you have a place that's to sense your key. If your key is low battery, couldn't be sensed by the wireless sensor to start the car, you can place it here. Okay, cup holders, nothing special. For the width of this center dash, this center console, this compartment is a little bit narrow compared to what it could have been. To be honest, it could have been this wide, but maybe they want thicker plastics on the side, you know, because it's pretty solid. Okay, here you have a handle which shows you that, hey, you're in an SUV. I love the material of this satin chrome material. It feels so good to grab. You see, car makers, when you do something like this, right, you really need to make sure that your edges are all smooth, the construction is solid enough, because people will eventually hold it, and if they feel anything there, any rough edges and all that, right, it gives a very bad impression to your car. This is very well done. Okay, forgot to mention, soft touch dash, really soft, feels good to the touch. All right, here you have that's normal, right? But this is what I like about some of the Chinese car makers. They go out their way to innovate. All right, there's a vent here, there is also aircon vent down there. You'd be like, what's this vent for? And then you look nearer, this entire thing houses an ionizer. So instead of having to buy like a Sharp or whatever brand, you know, ionizer and takes up one of your cup holders and then plug it in, right? It is built right into your armrest cover. Very, very clever. I like car makers who innovate like this. So you have an armrest that serves as an in-car air filter ionizer, right? The seats, as how you look at it, it is comfortable, right? Very good stitching, very nice finishing. Again, I'm going to mention the Toyota Camry, which really surprises me with those awful stitches. All right, and then here you get, this is like a premium feature, right? For like Toyota Crowns, you know, BMW 7 Series, Mercedes and all that. You have an adjustment over here to adjust this passenger seat so that your rear passengers are comfortable. All right, over up here you get sunglass holder with a layer of foam in there. Very nice, very thoughtful, and it's big enough, unlike the W205C class or GLC, very small sunglass holder. Most ladies, aviators or big Gucci shades wouldn't be able to fit in. Alright, there are no lights here. Alright, there are no lights that turn on automatically when you flip the mirror. You have to rely on this one. Alright, this one is pretty interesting. The whole module is that big, and 2/3 of it is actually not the light. Easy access probably. But it feels as though this whole thing will light up, right? And nothing much. This is, what is this? Oh, you can turn on the whole thing for in-car lighting. This is for when you open the doors, it will light up. Right, nothing much. Okay. Quality and all that feels alright. Okay, and then here there's the glove box, pretty big, not covered in felt. I would have preferred it to cover in felt, but for this segment it's alright. And these are high quality plastics, not some flimsy thin plastics that you see in a lot of Japanese cars. Okay, so yep, speakers are over there. The speakers are on a spot that I would prefer it to be probably here, but it's over there. Why? Because if it is here, you can do all your wiring and all that here, and then you get a very long door cut. As it is now, this is a door cut.
Opening the door.
Wow, so serious. Anyway, here is a door cut. You can put some stuffs, but you cannot put a large bottle. Usually when car makers have this handle, they have a door cut that allows you to put your large bottle like this, the same parallel as this, and then you still get to put a lot of stuff. Alright, so this is probably one of the shortcomings in terms of putting stuffs in the door cut, but nevertheless it's alright, it's useful enough. And then there's a separator here. You can put a small bottle over here, you can put your smart tag and other stuffs over here. Okay, let's go to the rear seats. Okay, coming to the rear seats, the ingress and egress is very easy. Now this car has a pretty flat floor considering what it is. Alright, the floor is pretty flat, so ferrying 3 passengers behind, no issues at all, and you won't be fighting for leg space because look at my size, 11.5 feet. I am 3 sizes away from touching the rails of the seat in front. And I like the fact that the rails for the seat in front is raised, so I can slot my feet underneath, even though this has been adjusted to its lowest setting. There's some indentation here on the seat back. You see that? There's a little bit of indent there. Why? Is to give you the perception of more knee room. Alright, instead of something that bulges out and takes up 1 inch of your knee room, it actually indents in. Okay, and this net is also pretty nice. Now some cars give you pockets. Pockets can only hold flat stuff. You cannot put like some Happy Meal toy in the kind of pocket in-car rear seat pockets. The net type is more flexible because you can put something this big in or even larger. So there's a benefit to nets, okay? So certain car makers still prefer to use nets. But of course, nets over time, they may loosen, but we're talking about 4 or 5 years down the road. Right, now the rear aircon vent console here, they even garnish it, they even bother to garnish it. I've seen some Mercedes-Benzes that couldn't be bothered with it also. So it's a nice touch, you know, it feels more premium, you know, with some garnishing here. And this one says air cleaner, right? It's an ionizer. And then here you get 2 USB ports. So the front has 1 USB port, the rear has 2 USB ports. There's a little tray here that you can slot your phone standing. So you can leave your phone upside down, slot it there with the charger port connected here. Very usable. Now this seat, this adjustment to the front, I was demoing this just now. See that? But from what I'm seeing, I can still sit in front with this room because these are large seats. So at the back here, you can see the seat back angle is very nice. It's a very good angle, very relaxing angle, and spacious. All right, the third set of seat belt is here. Hook it down here and then pull it over for the middle passenger. Now for the middle passenger, the bench is all right. The bench is pretty flat. All right, there is some height differences, you know, this part to give a better grip to both passengers by the side. But even sitting in the middle is all right. It's not too bulgy. However, this middle part, this is way more bulgier than this. All right, almost 1.5 inch of height difference. However, when you sit down, because the seat bottom doesn't bulge up that crazy, sitting here is all right. I mean, this is not a proper seat. Actually, all cars are 4-seaters, just at the middle you can fit another passenger. Mostly people who are more petite, smaller size, they will sit in the middle. But so far, I'm still feeling all right. But of course, I would wish the back is a bit more flatter with the other sides. However, it's a give and take because the bulging side actually gives me a very good cocoon feeling when I'm sitting on a proper seat. All right, so this seat is set to my sitting position. I am 5'11", 179 cm, 68 kg, 11.5 feet, 11.5 size shoes. So I can sit here very, very comfortably. And I like this seat angle. The seat angle is pretty slanted compared to everything in the segment. So this also gives me very, very good headroom. Very comfortable. And then the height of the window is tall enough and long enough. It's pretty long. A lot of cars, right, they put this separator over here so that the window that you can open is pretty small. But this one is huge. This one is huge, and then it goes all the way down. This is one of the longest rear door windows that can go completely down that I have seen. It's very long. None of the visible area within my peripheral vision is obstructed. That means everything that I can see from my peripheral vision by sitting here can go down. The window can go down and I can see the full view of it. So if I turn you guys around, you can see how long this window is. And the fact that the whole thing goes down is pretty good engineering. A lot of car makers just take a shortcut and have it like that, and then only a small part goes down. Why? Because the door that they design is smaller. Okay, so this is, I never noticed this until now. The rear window is so long and the whole thing goes down. Very, very good engineering there. And you still get a small little opening behind for more light to come in. So it's not a car that you will feel claustrophobic at all. Now, the reason it bulged up because it has a proper armrest and pretty well made, considering even Porsche just gives you one whole cushion with 2 holes. One big cushion and 2 holes is what Porsche did to the Cayenne. Whereas in the X70, you get a nice console slotted in here with some gloss material for some reason, and then a lid that opens up slowly like a Lexus, and then for you to put your drinks. Substantial investment there for something like this, you know. I'm actually surprised, you know. I would have, it almost looked like some really high class or expensive cars with some control panels here. All right, now the insides of these seats, you can see these seats, there's a nice layer of textile here, which I appreciate it because this is leather, and leather that rubs against leather will create noise, and they put textile over here which dampens it and reduces the friction of this versus the 2 side pieces in making noise. Attention to detail there. Okay, the back is the tonneau cover. The X70 has never been known to have a very large boot. usable but not class leading large. That's what I have always remembered. Okay, now this is the boot. The reason also being that it has a very tall floor. Okay, it has a very tall floor because it has a spare in it and a proper expensive foam to hold all the tools, and then this also becomes like a soundproofing material, the whole foam. And this deck, this thing is so thick, so well made. You compare this to a lot of Japanese cars, which is just one thin layer of carpet and some harder cardboard. This is properly made, okay? And then for such a small boot, I'm surprised they give you a tonneau cover even, but there it is, okay? So this material, you can touch this here, push it. The carpeting and the solidity of this back boot part shows that it's a well-made car, but it's definitely not a big boot because of the tall loading floor and very little height over there. But nevertheless, it's an SUV. You can drop the seats down, you can remove the tonneau cover, and you can load a bunch of stuff. But I want you guys to walk into Proton showroom and just touch this, feel this whole thing, and then go into Honda or Toyota and try out those Japanese cars. And then you go to premium cars, BMW, Mercedes and all that, open up the SUVs and try, feel this. This is better built than a lot of them, okay? Powered struts on the side, and yeah, exterior wise, it is still as though it is the first day. This is an SUV that doesn't pretend to be a crossover, right? It has proper SUV ride height, proper ground clearance, okay? It is a proper SUV, all right? The front still looks as good, okay? Nice colors, even their paint, they use very quality paints in this car. All right, so that's the X70. MC is not in the name, it's just a term that people call it, all right? The cameras over there. So for 110,000, this is still a very, very good buy. All right, it is. The interior quality is one grade higher than the X50. It has a lot more room than the X50. The sitting position at the back is slanted and very comfortable for long distance. And the ride quality is good, the suspension is good. So this is a car that I can ride comfortably in from KL to JB or KL to Penang and all that. Alright, of course Malaysians always expect more. Malaysians just expect more. So I think for the fact that they are able to maintain the price somewhat like that is still a very good buy. That's the reason why the X50 and X70 sells so well. But of course, I do understand now global supply chain and logistics is going through a mad phase, a mad phase. What's going on around the world? We cannot not relate that to what's happening, that the impact that we're feeling. All right, it certainly will be impacted. Every country is impacted, and I just hope the world can go back to normal again. All right. So I do understand a lot of Proton owners are facing this issue. Proton is also facing this issue as well. But do understand this. No car makers out there, be it Proton or BMW or Mercedes or whatnot, no car makers are out there to get you. They are pulling their hair out to solve the issues that you guys are facing. You guys are facing your own car, but they are facing thousands of customers. Right? Everybody is working so hard. That's what I know. My friends in the industry, I know it. They are all working so hard to try and solve all these issues. Alright? Nevertheless, this is the review of the Proton X70, and it's still a car that I would always give a thumbs up. This car or the X50 and all that, they are great cars, good cars, and sincere car makers that want to give you the best for whatever budget that you have. Alright? Cheers.